Hi, I'm John DeVore. Welcome to the channel. Today's a record review, and I think as a little treat, I've been neglectful. There are a lot of customer system photos that I would love to go through, so I'm going to do that at the end of this. But on to first the record review. It's a Polish group. It's a Polish duo, and they are Skalpel. This is their self-titled first record from 20 years ago. It's got to be 20 years ago now. 20 years ago, 2003. Yep. So they are sort of a down-tempo electronica music. It is, I think, entirely constructed from samples from Polish records, predominantly jazz records. It has a very DJ Shadow vibe to it in the way that they are cutting and pasting and incorporating all these various kind of beats and grooves into a whole. That whole, the way it flows, is very DJ Shadow, except that these guys, every sample that I've heard of theirs is an identifiable instrument. Clear, relatively unprocessed samples of drums or horns, bass lines, things like that. And the whole it's really, really beautifully done. It's great stuff. Good sounding as well. And everything I've heard from them is consistently good in that way. This is their first album. I think I have the first two albums and a couple of singles, 12-inch singles. And they're all great. Nice stuff. Yeah, recommended. A little apology for not putting up a video last week. I on this coming Sunday, which happens to be Mother's Day, I am traveling to Munich for the big show there. And so there's just been a ton of preparation, not only for that, for getting there and getting all of our gear there to set up, but also just to make sure that in the week that the production manager and I are gone, there's enough stuff here to do so that the factory can continue running at maximum speed and we can continue trying to dig out of our back order situation. Now, on to the customer systems. System 1 is a pair of Gibbon Super 9s. There's a Michel gyro deck, I believe, turntable, and a VTL amplifier, which I think that's an S200. Anyway, it's a VTL stereo amplifier. The VTL amplifiers that I have used over the years at hi-fi shows, heartbreakingly good combination. To this day, the best I've ever heard the Gibbon 10 was with some smallish VTL monoblocks at a hi-fi show. Just absolutely killer stuff. I love it. Oh man. So the next one, this is not officially a DeVore Fidelity speaker. So I spotted these in a really beautiful high-end upscale furniture store in Manhattan. And it turns out that it's a furniture store that was opened and is run by somebody who I was good friends with back in the 90s. And I ended up selling him a pair of my speakers that I had built. The initial build on these speakers, I mean, they evolved quite a bit, which is what I would do when I was building. But they were from the 80s, I think 89 or something like that. I built these. And then they sort of evolved and adapted. And sometime in the probably early 90s, I sold them to this guy. And I don't know if they still are. This photo is from quite a few years ago. But I was pleasantly surprised to see them sitting there in this very luxe furniture store making music. Very cool. This next photo, this is a shot of a pair of 096s and then a record shelf behind there. That's an ideal record shelf situation in that not every shelf is completely full, and so there's sort of a nice combination of density of records and openings. It makes it sort of ideal for room tuning. It's a great acoustic treatment. Record shelves are great sounding. So this is the system of an industry guy. This is a guy who is most well known these days for his phono preamps, phono sections. Makes some really, really beautiful, excellent, and very well respected phono sections, and has for a number of years. I don't know if you can see it though. Camouflaging in that shag rug is just an adorable little dog there, a little terrier, blending in quite nicely, except for his bright blue dog tags. Here's an elegant black and white photo. This is a pair of custom O96s. Those were done in walnut. That's just a flat cut American black walnut. And that is clearly a beautiful Shindo system. I see a Shindo preamp and power amp. That's probably a wavelength DAC there across that credenza. And we are, I think the photographer is sitting at a piano bench because there is a grand piano there in the foreground. And I see the head of a guitar there with a capo. So a lot of music going on in this, a lot of music and artistic presentation going on in this photograph. Next is a pet. I think I've shown a photo of this cat before, but I'm sorry. I'm gonna apologize, and I'm gonna show it again because that is just a very, very cute and sweet looking cat there, perched on top of an O96. Here's a really this is a lovely system here. These are a pair of original Gibbon 8s. Once the Gibbon Super 8 came out, we used to call these the straight 8s. So these are original Gibbon 8s with a Conrad Johnson tube integrated amp there. And I would guess that's a Rega CD player and a Rega phono preamp. And up top, I'm going to say that is a Thorens TD124. I could be wrong, but from this angle, that's what it looks like. Boy, I'll bet that's a nice, smooth, and just very satisfying system. Really nice looking system there. Here's another Gibbon system. This is a pair of Gibbon 10s in mahogany bamboo finish. Bob Dylan there peering over his shoulder, looking a little suspicious in that fancy hat. And the gear is airtight. Those are the absolutely wonderful airtight 211 monoblocks. I've used those. I debuted, it was a prototype still, a pre-production version of the O reference using the airtight 211 monoblocks. Man, that is just absolutely, those are killer amplifiers. And I'll bet they sound magnificent on the Gibbon 10s. I'm seeing an esoteric DAC CD player or something there. Clearly an airtight preamp. Here is the first shot we ever received of a pair of micros in a home installation. This was sent by our dealer down in Austin, Whetstone Audio. And there is a pair of micros in a really cool oak shelving unit with a Leben CS300 integrated amplifier. That's a vacuum tube integrated amplifier. Memory serves, it's about 15 watts per channel, which should be plenty for a pair of micros in a situation like that. Nice little fireplace below there. That's a wonderful looking system. A couple of very high-end Lego automobiles above. Yeah, just cool. Very playful. A lot of style in that photo. Next, we've got a pair of O babies with their stands with John Coltrane Blue Train. That's a lovely looking system. Very airy, open space. Big, high peaked ceiling there. Looks like a later generation Macintosh MC275 amplifier. That's, I believe, 75 watts times 2, 75 watt per channel. I see a Rega turntable up there. Great looking system. And it looks like a nice, maybe a cappuccino there in the foreground. And lots of light coming in. So maybe this is a morning listening session on the weekend. Anyway, very nice. Nice looking. Here is the second customer photos we have seen of the 20s. This is a pair of ebony 20s. That's an amazing log of ebony. It was wide enough that we could get, it's not quite a two-piece per front, but we were able to slice it and lay it up so that it looked like a two-piece front of a beautiful Makassar ebony Those are the 20s with all of the cast machined bronze parts, the badges you can see up at the top. And there's a shot to the side of the gorgeous Shindo system there. So that is a full Shindo record player, Shindo preamp. I believe that's the Giscore preamp, and some 300B monoblocks. Boy, I'll bet that sounds good. Man, oh man, oh man. Gorgeous system, and he's even got the room painted a Shindo green. Just absolutely lovely, 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 lovely. Thank you so much for all of these customers for sending in your photos, or dealers for sending in the photos. I really appreciate it. Keep sending them in. I promise I will do more coverage of these photos, mixed in again with the music reviews or other stuff. So thank you very much. I hope you like this video, and I will see you at the next one.